Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm broadcasting this YouTube video from Phoenix, Arizona. It is early morning of July 4th, 2013. This video is to express my opinion on the shooting of the dog by the Hawthorne police officer. Now, I realize a lot of us, of course, we understand that police put their lives on the line to safeguard our communities. But that does not mean the police are infallible, okay? So that's why I'm going to state what I believe should have occurred here. But it's easy to Monday morning quarterback, but here's what I believe. The individual, this gentleman who was filming the police, and there were others there filming them now with this technology that we have, these cell phones with cameras. There was a bunch of people there filming. I heard one other video where a man said, well, he crossed into the police area like there's some kind of tape. Now, maybe there was, and you'll correct me, okay, and I agree. If there was a tape, please let me know. I didn't see one. I didn't see any clear signs of the police at the borders of this area where this hostage situation was taking place saying, no, you can't come in. Generally, like serious car crashes, these types of areas, police are put out on the perimeter to stop people from coming in. Now, that being said, this gentleman crossed the street and it was standing next to another camera person. He was filming, and the two officers that were walking down the street noticed him filming. It was very clear and when they saw him. Now, he was telling them apparently something they didn't like. Okay, the individuals who were filming the Hawthorne video, the one I've witnessed, said that he was stating something as to the effect that why weren't there African American police officers or more of them there handling this situation? Well, anyways, they started walking back towards the man. He started walking away, not wanting a problem with them, to get into his car. He puts his dog into the car. Then the two police officers continue to walk towards him, and he walks towards them. He turns around for himself to be placed into handcuffs. You can see that there's a part of the video where they manhandle him. They're much rougher than they have to be. At this point, you know, like the other video I just watched, some guy who I respect his opinions said, well, the guy was being a jackass. He was arrested for being a jackass. Now, I recognize, because I know people who are officers, I know people who are protesters, and I recognize that protesters say things to officers and officers say things to protesters they don't like. But in America, you know, we do have a United States Constitution. There was no clear and present danger, in my opinion, there. Okay, so you cannot, or you should not, according to our First Amendment of our Constitution, freedom of speech, filming officers and government officials, be arrested for, quote, being a jackass. I don't know if he was being a jackass because I didn't quite hear what he was saying, but the officers were walking. He turned to walk away. That's okay. Then they came up anyways, and they just had to manhandle him, which is clear. The poor Rottweiler saw the officers, and yes, you know, went over to protect its master. The poor Rottweiler did, the dog. At this point, you know, it's hard to say. I don't believe the dog was going to attack him, but you know, you're the officer there, and the dog is coming at you. But as the other man on the video said, who says he forgave the cop for what he did, he stated that the dog usually, if it's going to attack, comes straight at you. My point is, I believe that the officers are at fault. They apparently, unless there's something this man was saying that we didn't hear, like, you know, screaming bomb in a crowded theater or something like that, which I highly doubt, but and other witnesses have not come forward and said he was stating something like that. Unless that happens, these officers arrested this man because they didn't like what he was saying. They didn't like the people filming them. And then when the dog attacked, you know, you can say that, you know, people will say, look, that was adrenaline flowing for this officer, fired many times into the dog. Okay, so, you know, in this case, in my opinion, it was abuse of power. You may not like it that citizens are filming you in this day and age where our government is spying upon us, where one of our highest security officials just lied to Congress and said that, oh, data wasn't being kept on millions of Americans. So in this day and age, we have cell phone cameras, and we want to hold our public officials responsible. That's what comes along with the territory. Unless you're working undercover or something like that, which these officers weren't. They were in their uniforms, walking on a public street, being filmed. But apparently, they didn't like the looks of this man. The two white officers, sorry, and the African American man was filming them, saying, "Why aren't there?" Apparently, but the other people were saying, more African American officers out there didn't like that and decided to arrest him because they just didn't like what he was saying. This man was presenting them no threat, so the dog would not have had to have died if the two officers had just let the man leave. But no, they had to manhandle him, which is clear in the video. And yeah, I am a little mad at the owner, a little bit, because, even though I believe he was in the right, he was not in the wrong for exercising his First Amendment rights. The point is, if he hadn't had his dog there, the poor dog wouldn't have died either. But the main point is, this man should not have been arrested for exercising his First Amendment rights under the Constitution to free speech. And then the dog came over and was shot. So, sorry, but all of the other people out there, we want to give a pass to police officers, but we hold our police officers up to the highest ethical standards, and we support them, but that does not give them the right to go breaking the United States Constitution, which apparently, I guess, doesn't really mean much, because nowadays our government spies on us without our permission to protect us from the terrorists, okay, with no declared war. So, anyways, that's my opinion, and I think that this officer, these two officers should be asked why they arrested this man. In my opinion, why they wrongly arrested him, and then probably termination for both of them. And then the city is therefore liable to this man for what happened to his dog. You don't go arresting people because you don't like them or what they're saying, okay? And an example needs to be set, because other officers out there need to understand you can't, because you have a badge, just think that you can be judge, jury, and executioner and go arrest people. Thank you.